Okay, students, we are going to interpret remainders today in lesson 5.4, which means we're going to figure out what to do with remainders when we're dividing. Sometimes you're going to ignore your remainder, sometimes you'll have to round it up, sometimes you'll have to make it into a fraction or a decimal depending on the problem, and sometimes your remainder will actually be your answer. So let's take a look at some of the problems on page 171 and see if we can figure out which one of these would apply, okay? I'm taking a look at number 1, and it says I have a roll of ribbon that is 1,780 inches long, and that it takes 1 yard to wrap a present, okay? The first thing I need to see is that I have two different things. I have inches and a yard, so I need to make these both the same. So I'm going to turn this into inches. I know that 1 yard is 3 feet, and 1 foot is 12 inches, so 12 times 3 is 36 inches. So 1 yard is 36 inches. Now I have inches, and I can divide these. So I will use expanded notation because I like that way. And I will divide to see how many presents I can wrap. As I'm talking, as I'm saying this out loud, I can tell that I'm probably going to have to ignore the remainder. Any leftover that I have of ribbon, I can't do anything with as in regards to wrapping this present. I can do another project with it, that's fine, but I can't wrap a present unless I have 36 inches. So I have if I have a number less than 36, I will ignore that remainder because I can't do anything with it, okay? So let's take a look. I'm going to, this rounds to 40 because between 30 and 40, 36 is closer to 40. And I'm thinking about how many times 40 would go into 1,780. I know 4 times 4 is 16, so 4D would get me 16 and then my 2 zeros. Okay, so 1,600. I will subtract, I got 180. Let's see, 40 goes into 180. Let's do another 4. 40 times 4 is 16 with the 0. I've got 20 left over. So, let's see.
I seem confused because I am. I multiplied 40 times 4 when I should have multiplied 36 times 4. So my answer is not 44. It should be 49. Different remainder. However, you still ignore the remainder.
I can't do anything with 20 inches of ribbon, and I can't wrap another present. So I'm going to get
49 presents wrapped.
Now I'm looking at number 2, and it says that there are 247 people who are going to a basketball game, and that they need to get on a bus. So this is how many people I have, and a bus holds 52 people. Okay, so I need to know how many buses to order. Okay, so this would be a division problem. I would see how many buses do I need. If I can fit 52 people on one bus and I've got 247 people, how many do I need? As I say this out loud, whenever I have people, I would never ignore the people, okay? If I don't have enough buses, I don't just ignore the people and say they can't come, okay? I would have to round up in this situation because let's say I've got 52 people on every bus and then I've got 3 people left over. You don't just leave those 3 people, you have to get a bus for those 3 people. So even though there's only 3 left, you would have to get an extra bus to make sure you have enough buses for everyone, okay? So in this situation, I know I'm gonna round up. Let's divide. This is closer to 50 than 60. So I'm going to round that to 50. And think about how many times that would go into 247. Well, it would go into 200 4 times. And maybe we could get 5 times. I'm not sure. Let's try 4. Okay. Times 4 is 208. And I would have 39 left over, okay? So I would not have a remainder of 39 people that have nothing to do. I would have to get, not 4 buses, but round up, and I would get 5 buses. So in this situation, when I did the division problem, I would see this isn't gonna be even. I need to round up and get 5 buses. So we would round up with this remainder. Okay, in the next problem, I have 28 students and they are having a pizza party and they have 98 slices of pizza. So I have to figure out how many slices of pizza each student is gonna get. Okay, as I say that out loud, as I'm thinking about pizza, if I had leftover pizza, I definitely wouldn't ignore it. Okay, I wouldn't just forget about it and throw it away. I'd probably, and I couldn't round up and magically make more pizza to give everyone. So I'm probably going to have to use a fraction with my answer, because if I have leftover pizza and a classroom full of students, I'm probably going to have to cut that pizza up into fractions to share it evenly among all the students, or else someone's gonna get mad, right? So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna form a fraction with my answer. So I have 28 divided by 98, and 28 is very close to 30, so I'm thinking, how many times would 30 go into 98? 30 would go into 90 about 3 times, so let's try 3. 28 times 3, 8 times 3 is 24. 6, 7, 8. So I get 84. And when I subtract, I would get 14, okay? Now, with that 14, with the 14 slices of pizza left, that's how many are left total. Since I have 28 students, my remainder becomes the numerator in my fraction, and my divisor, the number on the outside of the box, the divisor becomes the denominator, okay? So from here, each student is going to get 3 and 14/28 slice of a pizza. And as I'm looking at that, I know that 14 doubled is 28, so this is just 3.5. So everybody's gonna get 3.5 pieces of pizza. So I had to form a fraction with my remainder this time. Okay, with my next example, I have 16 friends, and they earned $348 at a car wash that they held. So I need to divide to figure out how much money each friend will get, because they'll want an even amount. As I say that out loud, I can tell that with money, I'm not going to ignore money. I would never throw money away. So if I had a remainder of money left over, like change, obviously, right? Remainder is change. I wouldn't throw that away. I wouldn't round up and magically make more money. And I don't normally see money in a fraction, so I'm going to definitely use a decimal in this problem, because that's how I normally see money, and I would want to divide all the money evenly between the 16 friends. So I'm gonna say 16, try and figure out how many times it goes. I'm gonna do digit by digit for a decimal. It makes it a little bit easier with decimals. Doesn't go into 3, does go into 34. 16 times, let's see, what 16 times 2 would give me 32, so that works. 16 times 2 is 32, and I have 28 left over. When I bring down my 8, 16 goes into 28 just once, and I would get 12 left over. Okay, do not put a decimal and a 12. That is not how a decimal works, okay? When you have a number and it's less than your divisor, and you know that you need to make a decimal, you just add a decimal here, put it up here, and you add zeros and bring them down until you have 0 as your remainder, okay? So you just keep going and going until there's a 0 as your remainder, and that's how you find your decimal. Never do you take that and put a decimal and write 12. No, don't do that, okay? Put a 0, put a decimal, and then add a 0, bring it down. Okay, 16 goes into 120. Let's see. Let's try 8 times. 16 times 8. 48, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A little too big. Let's try 7. 16 times 7. 42, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That works. Put a 7. I've got 112. I'm going to subtract. regroup here. Got an 8. Again, do not put the 8 anywhere. You add a 0, and you're going to keep going until you have nothing left, okay? Let's see. Keep going, okay. 16 goes into 80. Let's try a little less than this. Let's try 5. Okay, 30. Oh, hey, perfect, okay? So we've got a 5 here, that's 80. I have a 0, I'm done. Once I have a 0, then I don't add more zeros and drop them down. I'm done, and I've got a nice money amount. Looks like everyone will get $21.75. So we used a decimal for this one. Okay, in this last problem, what I have is a bagel shop, and they've got 138 bagels, and they're packaging the bagels into 12 bagels per box, and then all the leftover bagels are for the employees. And the question is, how many bagels do the employees get? So as I say that out loud, the leftover bagels are for the employees. It sounds like the remainder is my answer, because I want to know how many bagels are left for all the employees. So I'm going to take my total amount of bagels and divide it by how many bagels will go in a box. Okay, 12, I'm going to do digit by digit again, goes into 13 once. Bring down my 8, 12 goes into 18 once again. And looks like I have 6 bagels left over. So I'm going to get 11 boxes packed, and then the employees have 6 bagels to share among them. So our answer is the remainder in this situation.